Hi friends, today I'm going to do a read aloud video of part 2 of our story, Aladdin and the Wonderful Lamp. Where we left off in part 1, Aladdin and his mother were living happily ever after. They were asking the genie for food, and they were selling the plates, and they were living a happy little life. But we knew that that wasn't really where the story ended. So today we are going to continue reading and read to the end of the story. All right, here's our first page. I wonder who this is. One day, the Sultan ordered all the people to stay at home and close their shutters while his daughter, the princess, passed by on her way to the bath. Aladdin stayed at home and closed his shutters, but he peeped through them as the princess was passing. The princess happened to raise her veil just then, and Aladdin saw her face. The moment he saw her, he loved her with all his heart. "Mother," he cried, "I have seen the princess, and I have made up my mind to marry her. Please go at once to the Sultan and beg him to allow his daughter to marry me." "What?" cried his mother. "You are mad, my boy. I cannot go to the Sultan." "Nay, you must go," said Aladdin. "Carry him this basket filled with the fruit that sparkles and shines like the most beautiful jewels. He will listen to you then." His mother agreed and went to the palace at once. She waited patiently, but no one even spoke to her. She went every day for a week before the Sultan noticed that she was there. "Who is the poor woman who comes here every day?" he asked. "Bring her forward." Aladdin's mother knelt before the throne. "Rise, good woman, and tell me what you want," said the Sultan. She told him of her son's love for the princess. "He sends you this gift of fruit," she continued, presenting the basket. "Fruit!" exclaimed the Sultan. "These are diamonds and rubies and sapphires. My daughter may marry one who sends such a gift." Then the Sultan told Aladdin's mother to return in 3 months' time, when the wedding would take place. When the time had passed, Aladdin again sent his mother to the Sultan. "I shall keep my word," said the Sultan, "but he who marries my daughter must first send me 40 baskets filled with jewels, just like the ones you brought before." Aladdin's mother returned home. "You can never send the gift the Sultan demands," she cried. "Indeed I can," answered Aladdin. Then he rubbed the lamp. When the genie appeared, Aladdin told him to provide the 40 baskets filled with jewels. When the Sultan received the jewels, he wished Aladdin to marry the princess without delay. Aladdin was delighted to hear the news. He ordered the genie to bring a purple robe for him to wear, as well as a white horse to ride and 10,000 gold pieces to give to the people. At last, everything was prepared. Aladdin, dressed in his purple robe, set out for the palace. As he rode along, he scattered gold coins among the people. At the palace, the Sultan greeted Aladdin joyfully and ordered the wedding feast to be prepared at once. "Not so, Your Majesty," said Aladdin. "I will not marry the princess until I have built her a palace." Then he went home and once more rubbed the lamp to call forth the genie. "Build me the finest palace in the world," ordered Aladdin. "Build it of the finest stones, the finest marble, set with diamond, rubies, and other precious stones. In the middle you shall build me a large hall with a dome, its 4 walls gold and silver, each side having 6 windows. There must be stables and horses and grooms and servants. Make haste." And here is the beautiful palace. Here is the genie bringing Aladdin to his palace. The palace was finished by the next day, and the genie carried Aladdin there and showed him all of his orders faithfully carried out. The genie had even laid a velvet carpet from Aladdin's palace to the Sultan's. Aladdin's mother dressed herself carefully and went to the Sultan's palace. She was taken to the princess, who treated her with great honor. The princess said goodbye to her father and set out on the carpet for Aladdin's palace, with his mother at her side. She was charmed at the sight of Aladdin, who ran to greet her. "Princess," he said, "blame your beauty for my boldness if I have displeased you." She told him that she willingly obeyed her father in this matter. After the wedding, Aladdin led her into the hall, where a feast was spread. They ate and danced till midnight. For a time, Aladdin and the princess lived happily. Then trouble came to them. The magician was the cause of it. You remember that he was very angry when Aladdin did not give him the lamp. When the earth had closed over Aladdin, the magician thought, "Well, my lad, we have seen the last of you." Months had passed, and never once did he think of Aladdin. But then, by means of his magic, he learned that the boy had escaped and married a princess, with whom he was living in great honor and wealth. He knew that the poor tailor's son could only have done this with the help of the genie of the lamp. "I must have that lamp for myself," cried the magician. At once he dressed himself as a merchant and traveled to the land where Aladdin lived. When he reached the city where Aladdin lived, he walked up and down the streets. He carried a load of copper lamps. Everywhere he went, he cried, "New lamps for old, new lamps for old." Now it happened that Aladdin had gone hunting, and the princess sat alone near an open window. She saw the merchant and sent a servant to find out what the man was calling. The servant came back laughing. "The foolish man says he will give you new lamps for old ones," he said. The princess scolded the servant for laughing, and then she pointed to an old lamp. "Take that old lamp," she said, "and see if the man truly wishes to trade it." When the magician saw the lamp, he knew that it was the one for which he was searching. He knew that it was. He took the magic lamp eagerly and gave the servant all the new ones. Then he hurried out of the city. When he was alone, he rubbed the lamp, and the genie appeared before him. "What is it thy will, master?" said the genie. "I command you to bring me the princess and Aladdin's palace and set us in a far-away land." The magician cried. Instantly, the palace disappeared. The next morning, when the Sultan looked out his window, there was no palace to be seen. "This must have been done by magic," he exclaimed. He sent soldiers to bring Aladdin home in chains. They met him riding back from the hunt and carried him to the Sultan. When Aladdin was allowed to speak, he asked, "Why have you made me a prisoner?" "Wretch!" exclaimed the Sultan. "Come and I will show you." Then he led Aladdin to the window and showed him that where the palace had been, there was now only an empty space. Aladdin begged the Sultan to grant him 40 days in which to seek for the palace and the princess. On this condition, Aladdin was set free. He searched everywhere, but he could find no trace of the princess. In despair, he wrung his hands. As he did so, he rubbed the magic ring. Instantly, the genie of the ring appeared. "I am here, master. What is it thy will?" asked the genie. "Bring back the princess and the palace," said Aladdin. "This is not in my power to do that," said the genie. "Only the genie of the lamp can bring them back." "Then take me to the place where the palace now stands, and set me down under the window of the princess." Almost before Aladdin had finished speaking, he found himself beneath a window of his own palace. "Princess, princess," he called. The princess opened the window. With a cry of joy, Aladdin entered and embraced her. "Tell me," said he, "what has become of the old lamp?" The princess shook her head sadly. "Alas," she sighed, "a man came through the streets crying, 'New lamps for old.' I gave him the old lamp, and the next thing I knew, I was here." "That man is a cruel magician," said Aladdin. "He has always wished to have the magic lamp. Where is he now?" "He's still here," said the princess. "He carries the lamp in his robe during the day, and places it under his pillow at night." That night, while the magician was asleep, Aladdin stole softly into the room and took the lamp from under the pillow. Then he rubbed the lamp and the genie appeared. "I command you to carry the princess and the palace back home," he cried. The following morning, the Sultan looked out at the window. To his surprise, he saw the palace of Aladdin in the very place from which it had vanished. After that, Aladdin and the princess lived happily for many years. When the Sultan grew very old and died, they ruled in his place, and they never forgot to guard both the ring and the lamp. And here they are. Here's the lamp. They are living happily ever after in their palace. And that is the end of Aladdin and the Wonderful Lamp. I hope that you enjoyed this story.